Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
Hello there. Welcome to another edition of Money Radio on your Monday edition. Today is 23rd of January 2023. It's my pleasure to be hosting you on today's program. My name is Winifred Ubebo, and with me in the studio is an in-house analyst, Kingsley Alu. Kingsley, you're welcome to today's program. Alu is also the editor of National Economy, the paper we have for review every Monday. We discuss topical issues surrounding the paper and, of course, its cover story. Let's have National Economy on our screen. National Economy. National Economy today, Monday, 23rd of 2023, January 2023. And of course, the weekly paper is from now till Sunday. Conflict, rising inflation, others may worsen Nigeria's food insecurity in 2023. Conflict, rising inflation, others may worsen Nigeria's food insecurity in 2023. Economists raise concern over 25 million Nigerians falling into hunger crisis. Conflict, rising inflation, others may worsen Nigeria's food insecurity in 2023. Economists raise concern over 25 million Nigerians falling into crisis. And apart from these leading cover story, we also have stories, outside stories on the paper. Let's scroll down. Yes, from surviving to thriving, the place of convenience in businesses. From surviving to thriving, the place of convenience in businesses. The story is on page 8 of National Economy. Still on the cover, stories, persistent tariff hike. What impact on electricity supply? Persistent tariff hike. What impact on electricity supply? The story is on page 5 of National Economy. What to know about the National Domestic Card. What to know about the National Domestic Card. The story is on page 15 of this week's National Economy. Now we are back to our main cover story for discussion. Yes, Kingsley. The issue of food insecurity, conflict, rising inflation, others may worsen Nigeria's food insecurity in 2023. Incidentally, 2023 is here right with us. Yes. And of course, today is January 23rd of 2023.
Yeah, well, of course, it keeps getting more alarming by the day. Actually, it's actually based on a report of a government-led UN-backed supported, project on food and nutrition.
Okay.
Usually, they do it twice in every year. Okay. And on Nigeria, concerning Nigeria, they put it at the moment we have 17 million Nigerians that are already food insecure.
Okay, 17 million.
Food insecure, and then by 2025, that number is bound to rise to 25 million.
Okay.
So, and at the heart of driving all this, you have, of course, you have continual conflict, you have the rising inflation, you have food inflation, of course, you have climate change. These are the main drivers of this trend. Now, we talk of climate change, of course, flooding readily comes to mind.
Oh, yes.
Yes. And in Nigeria, it's always been more of the more you look, the less you see. Because if you recall, sometime in 1977, between 1977 and 1982, Nigeria and Cameroon signed an agreement to construct two big dams. The Lac de Dome in Cameroon was completed in 1982.
That was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago. To date, Nigeria has not done anything about
His own
his own
part of
part of
agreement.
the agreement. The Dansina Dam is in Fufure local government area of Adamawa State. Government has failed to, implement that part of that agreement. So that's the reason why, we're having this constant flooding now. And then, originally it's supposed to be a mutually beneficial arrangement. Like the Dansina Dam in Adama was supposed to be 2.5 times, bigger than the Lagdo Dam in Cameroon. But the Lagdo Dam, when it is emptied, and collected in our own dam, the essence primarily is to one, from the dam, you generate power for the northern part of the country, and then of course provide irrigation to
That's
about
hydro.
of course. Then of course, provide irrigation to about 15,000, crops, downstream. Those are supposed to be the benefits, but then again, it has not happened. So it's a huge problem. Coupled with the fact that when you look at how much Nigeria is spending on imports, food imports, $10 billion yearly, to mitigate the impact, because right now the demand, of course, for food is high. It has far exceeded the supply. So government usually spend about this $10 billion, to at least to some extent, take care of these shortfalls in food and in production, in rice, in wheat, in fish, poultry, basically. This again is a problem because right now the farms are ravaged. Okay, people are not going to farm. Yeah. And then again, and also if you look at the of the 17 million now, presently food insecure. Of this number, children are most vulnerable to food insecurity. So of these 17 million, children now make up about 6 million of this. Now, of these 6 million, the danger is that one, you have high mortality rate now, and then of course, again, you also look at malnutrition. It's just ravaging the entire north now. If you go Adamawa, Katsina, Zamfara, the northwest, northeast, and that's where the casualties seem to be much more higher. Then it's even projected that in 2 years, the 6 million we are looking at now may reach or hit close to 8 million. So either way you look at it, it's not good news.
What about women? Most times you just talked about children. Women are children. They always fall into the same category. They are the worst hit in any crisis.
So
what's the percentage of women in this?
What they say, women make up the adult population in this. So what they have done is that when you isolate the adult population, you have the children. So if you remove that 17 million, from that 6, that will leave you about 11 million or thereabout. So it's just the adult population. Yes. Then when you also look at considering the area of inflation, of course, by October last year, inflation was around 23.22%. By the same November of that same year, inflation was hitting around 24.13%, food inflation alone. But by December, the thing dropped a bit to about 23.22%. That again is another problem. This also does not take into account the fact that wages have not increased. That's one.
Yes.
It's either it has stagnated or even reduced. They look at the statistics on unemployment.
Yes,
33%. It's quite high. That's very, very alarming. So this is why it is going to be very, very, very serious this year. That's what basically it is all about.
Now, we talk about, like I was sharing with somebody earlier on, this issue of a conflict alone. Nigeria has had a protracted security issues from late President Yar'Adua's government. Remember how the onset of Boko Haram, and during that period, and Jonathan's administration, it was really worst hit, Boko Haram. Yet the food security was quite okay. As compared to now. What happened?
I think somewhere along the line, somewhere snapped. because at the moment now, I mean,
And don't forget that during that Johnson's administration, we also had flood issues then that had too many toll on so many
yeah,
lives.
we had flood issues, but
Yeah.
then one of the things I was able to identify in all this is that there were like NIMET, Nigerian Meteorological Agency, will always issue these warnings and all the rest of it.
It's a
Government
yearly
at the time were also paying attention. Was paying attention to these alerts. When they come in, they try to look at how can we mitigate this, how can we mitigate that. That to a large extent really helped. You discover there were drainage systems that were being constructed at that time, and the governors also were meant to be on the alert, because this is when they happen. They don't happen in Abuja. They happen in those states.
Yes.
Of Kogi, of Delta, of Edo, of Anambra, of Rivers, riverine areas. Yeah, they were more proactive, in the way they were handling the issues. But at this time around, I don't think they have not seen much on the part of government. Now, interestingly, one of the presidential aspirants has been promising that if elected president, the first thing he will do is to go and complete the Dansina Dam in Adamawa State. That has been his campaign, promise, mantra. That's what he's going to do. Well, who knows? But the truth is that even this regime has to wake up.
But it has just about 4 months to go.
At least that's something. Why would Cameroon, look at the population of Cameroon, in terms of size, in terms of resources, compared to Nigeria, why would Cameroon complete its own 1982? Why is it taking us to eternity to even take off in the first place?
And from what I also heard, it in addition to that, Cameroon, most times when the dams are, their own dam is full, they alert Nigerian authorities that, look, we want to open our dam.
They do.
And at that same time, Nigeria is supposed to also, do something. But
Do something.
They open their dam and what have you.
Now, when they open their dam, what would the waters empty into? That's the question. Do you understand me? You don't have what you should have. What we have is a National Emergency Management Agency. So when the crisis happens, they will swing into action. How do we handle this? How do we solve this? And that is not the solution.
Now, how are we going to handle this food insecurity, given the fact that even before now, we had what we call the rice pyramid. Nigeria was thumping his chest on this rice sufficiency. Now, can we actually boost that? Where are the rice pyramids?
Well, I don't know. But the issue is that at this time around, I don't think we can boast of anything. I've told you how much you spend importing food just to mitigate the shortfalls, in the food and agricultural production. Right now, nothing per se is really going on. I don't see the rice. We've not seen. If you have seen, let me know. The price of 50 kg rice has gone up. Is it 25 kg? It has gone up. 10 kg, they have all gone up. So where is the impact of this? So I'm not saying there may be rice pyramid. I'm not saying there's no rice pyramid. But you see, when you are coming up with a policy or when you are doing something, you have to take into consideration the fact that this thing affects the generality of the people. And if you want to, a lot of analysts have even criticized why government has to even shut down the borders in the first place. Okay, you say you want to encourage homegrown production. Yes. But then you are doing it. But at the same time, you've not seen the impact. The essence is to create competition. Okay, fine. If we shut down the borders, you can, come up with something that Nigerians can be able to say, okay, it's cheap, we can enjoy them. But they have not been able to do that.
It's really, really sad. Well, sorry to break into your thoughts. We are going on a break. When we come back, we'll be running up on our discussion, cover story today on food insecurity. Don't go away, viewers. We will be right back.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
Welcome back. In case you're just joining us, the program is Morning Radio and is reaching you on Leadership Television. My name is Winifred Webb, and with me in the studio is Kingsley Alu. Kingsley Alu is the editor of National Economy. Kingsley, thank you once again for your presence. Now, before we went on the break, we were discussing the cover story on national economy, talking about food insecurity as going to be a big problem to Nigerians in 2 years to come. And Kingsley, I'm asking you, what is the way forward?
I think the way forward, first of all, because the issue of flood has become,
it's an endemic.
Yeah, it's almost becoming part of us now.
Every year.
Every year, we can't continue like this. So the first thing first is government should do something about, constructing this dam in Adamawa State.
Yeah.
It is very, very important. We don't want any quick fix. Let them go ahead. Because I believe that there's resources to handle these things. So government should first of all, tackle that. Once this is fixed, I believe every other thing will just naturally, fall in place.
Everything will fall in place.
Yeah.
Well, for more on that cover story, you can log on to the website www.nationaleconomy.ng. Let's have just a review on other cover stories, on other stories we have on our cover. And from surviving to thriving, the place of convenience in businesses, and the persistent tariff hike, what impact on electricity supply? I want us to be discussing that because that has been it's also a recurring issue.
Yeah.
Sarah is taking President Muhammadu Buhari to court that it has failed to reduce the electricity tariff. What is happening? What's the situation?
Why the operators in the industry also saying that since they removed the subsidy, it's also affecting them. But whichever way you look at it, the most important is that, and the people that are mostly affected by this, from what I've gathered, is people that are not metered.
That
no metered.
They are the ones that are feeling the impact.
They are more feeling the impact more. But overall, the first thing they should be looking at is how do we get every Nigerian metered? It's very, very important.
Yes, I was hearing a report that about 20% of those that applied for meter actually got meter last year.
20%.
Yes.
So what happens to
24, 20?
Yeah. So what happens to the rest of them? It's a problem here because, for instance, if you apply for a meter now, it may take 2 years before you get it. It's a really serious challenge. Government has to see how they can work around this issue. The moment people are metered, it will be no different from you recharging your phone.
Kingsley, I just really fail to see what the problem is, because one of the companies that is also leadership is also an awardee. This award coming up on Tuesday, January 21st. So they actually have a company. They produce so many meters, yet they are not buying them. They are not utilizing them.
I doubt that anyway. But the issue is that also when you look at NEC also say it has this part. There's an act that empowers them to review tariff every 6 months. So based on
review tariff. So no, these ones have meter actually. They can produce. We are looking at local content. How come these discos they are not purchasing them, or is it NEC whose responsibility is?
That is why sometimes we've even suggested it could be sabotage, because the idea is that if you go to any NEPA office now, you will see people actually, trying to get this meter. They are all there. So it's a question of making sure. Initially, when they started, they made all the noise. They said they are going to distribute free meter. There were even sensitization campaigns here and there. All of a sudden, people were also made to pay. But even when you paid for these things, if you go through the official one, it may take you over a year. But all of a sudden, you have the money now to pay. In under 1 week, you will get it. Do you understand me? So the authorities have to find a way of, making this thing seamless so that people can be able to have access to these meters. Even if and the act empowers you to review the tariff, but I have my meter, it's okay.
It's still the same thing because you discover that the rate you are actually paying for one is higher.
It's higher. But so when you touch them, they also tell you how the cost of diesel has gone up, how the cost of this has. Do you understand me? It's always tied to one thing or the other. They always find reasons why they must increase that tariff. Whether it is okay for the public or not, it's not. It's about how they can also stay afloat in business according to them. Do you understand me? So I feel government has to wade in here.
But they themselves, like some experts will say that the DISCOs or GENCOs, they are actually, there's no way they will not be running at a loss, given the fact that about 2/3 of houses, homes in Nigeria are unmetered, like you say.
Yeah, so let them take the meters to them. This is why that was the reason for the privatization in the first place. Yes, take the meters to them. They are your customers. Give them the meter.
So what is actually the problem?
The problem is that they expect you to come for it. And you see, I don't know if it's the bureaucracy that is, I can't even place hand on this thing. Because like I told you, if you should decide now to apply for what they call that free meter, it will take you almost 3 years. Do you understand me, bro? Because these are efforts to make sure you are frustrated.
I actually applied for meter about 3 years ago, and of course it took me about less than 2 months to get one.
Government official.
Yeah, I applied.
Okay, for government owned.
Yes.
Government, and you got it. It's okay.
In an ADC close to my place.
Okay.
But of course, I still have to talk to the person there. I have my meter. It's it will soon be out. Really, I got it.
Yeah. Okay.
When it was that, I was called upon, and they came.
They gave you the meter. There were also instances where people have complained it took them over a year to get some meter.
Yeah, I got mine about 2 months.
Do you understand? So that tells you if you got your own in less than 4 months, or less than months, at max 3 months, that means they can do it. It's not rocket science again to them. They can, if they really meant it, they can do it. So they should be thinking of how do we get our customers metered.
That is the issue, because we've seen successive governments giving the directive get meter for most of these houses, and at the end of the day, still remains the same. If you even know how much they are charging in this estimated billing, you wait for it. It's much. Yet when they do it, the customers have to. If pole has issue, it's the customer that will pay for the pole. Is cable, the customers will pay for the cable. When ordinarily they should be the ones. They are the ones.
Yeah. Transformers spoil now, they will tell them to go and contribute money and buy another transformer.
No, they are the ones that are supposed to pay.
They are not doing all those things. So this is why. So what is all these things, you are increasing tariff, you are not rendering consumer services. So how does these things work out? Because people are tired of, a lot of things are really going up now. Tell me one item in this country now that has not really gone up. The prices of these items are really on the high side. Then you now come in the middle of an election year and you increase tariff again.
It doesn't make sense.
It shows insensitivity.
We are running out of time before we go. Let's just look at another story we have on our cover now. Not back to national economy. Yes, back to national economy. That's the story. Yes. What to know about the national domestic card? Kingsley, what do I have to know about national domestic?
Yeah, I think it's just CBN just came up with that policy.
Okay, what's it all about?
No, it's just about your normal credit debit. Do you understand me? But now it is domesticated. Do you understand me? The essence of it is that it has so many benefits, and it's also about
Like, what are some of the benefits?
yeah.
Our
Government
viewers
has
want to know.
government has been having this campaign about going cashless.
Yes.
You need it.
Okay.
Do you understand me? You need it. You need to have that card. You really need to have it. So it's part of the effort.
Okay. The national domestic card can access all the banks or what?
Why not? Why not? It's a card. It's normal like your normal debit and normal credit card. It can. Do you understand me? But the essence is just to all this excess cash in circulation, people carrying cash around and all the rest of them flooding the banks and all. Just go and get yours because it's now available. Do you understand me? It's part of the effort by the government to at least ensure a seamless transition to a cashless economy. So it is good.
So with this card, what actually does it entail? Can you share more a little bit light on it?
Yeah, it's normal. We withdraw. What you do with card is what you do with it. It's the transaction-based card.
For which specific bank?
There's no specific bank. When you have it, I don't share the same bank with you.
Yes.
Do you understand?
I
I don't share the same bank with you, but you can also do your transaction with the card, just with your bank, as much as I could do with mine. Do you understand? The idea is just to streamline these things, get it more organized, okay, and synchronize a lot of issues that border on transactions, debit, credit, and all the rest of them. It's more of a kind of a proper channel, to enable you carry out the day-to-day transactions without hassles.
Okay. For more on that, for more on the national domestic card, viewers, you can log on to the website of National Economy to get more details about the national domestic card. And of course, on other cover stories we have as well on National Economy. This is what we'll call it today on today's program. Don't forget, same time, same station. Next week is another day. Kingsley, it's always a pleasure to have you on the program. And I remember when you for the Bible. See you. Bye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.